Hello everyone, my name is Chip, and today we're playing Modern League with Fabi1's Mono White Flicker deck that they took to a 5-0 finish in a Modern League, so we're hoping to do the same. This deck looks amazing. So for our 1-drops, we're running 4 Aether Vial, 3 Giver of Runes, and 4 Ephemerate. Ephemerate can exile a creature we control, returns it instantly, and it also has rebound, so we get to do it again on the next upkeep. Our other flickering cards are 3 Charming Prince, a modal creature that we can exile a creature we control, we can also scry, we can also gain 3 life, so if we want to, we can ephemerate our own Charming Prince, get those triggers off again. 4 Flicker Wisp, because we're a flicker deck, you kind of have to run the card that flickering is named after. 2 Restoration Angel, I'm very excited to see this card back in Modern. And what are we hoping to flicker? Well, we've got 4 Skyclave Apparition for removal, 4 Leonin Arbiter, which if we hit with Restoration Angel or Ephemerate, even if our opponent has paid for it, we can make them pay again because it is a new instance of Leonin Arbiter, and 4 Stoneforge Mystic. So we can flicker our Stoneforge Mystic, get another artifact into hand, and bring it down the next turn. For the rest of our Stoneforge package, we're running 1 Batterskull, 1 Sword of Fire and Ice, and 1 Sword of Feast and Famine. And then the final card that we're playing, because we're running so many flickering effects, is Akroma, Angel of Fury. Akroma is a legendary creature angel that costs 8 mana and is 3 red. Now, we're not running any red mana. So, it's a flying 6/6 with trample, protection from white and blue. Its final ability out of its list of abilities is Morph. So we can cast it face down for 3 mana. And then we're able to flicker it out with any number of our blink and exile effects. And then it comes back face up as a 6/6 flyer with protection from white and blue. Now, if we can put a sort of Feast and Famine on this, it's very hard for our opponent to remove. It's something I've wanted to run for a while, but I always felt was just a little bit too cute. But if someone's 5-0'd with it, why not? Now, for our lands, we're running a full playset of Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin just to take our opponents off kilter with our Leonin Arbiters. We're running 11 basic planes, and for the rest of our non-basics, we're running 2 Horizon Canopy and 1 Silent Clearing, just for extra card draw if we need it. For our sideboard, we're running a full playset of Urza Champions in case we come up against Burn or a Rakdos style deck, 2 Aven Mind Sensor just as an additional way to shut off searching, 3 Phyrexian Revoker for troublesome activated abilities. We're running 3 Rest in Peace just to shut off the graveyard. And just for extra removal, we're running 3 Path to Exile. And that's today's deck. I'm super excited to play it. I've wanted to have an Akroma blinking style deck for ages. The fact that someone else brewed it and I don't have to is, I love it. Anything that saves me work, I love. Before we go to the games, I just want to let you know that I release a video every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you enjoy this video, be sure to check some of the others out. And if you like this video, by leaving a like, you're letting me know that this is more of the content you'd like to see. Alright, let's get on to some games. Alright, we win the die roll. Yeah, we can keep this hand. Opponent mulligans to 6, so we'll lead on Snow-Covered Plains in Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Forest and runs out an Elvish Reclaimer. Gross, we're against a Titan deck. Tick up our Aether Vial. Run out the Snow-Covered Plains, run out the Arbiter. Pass it there. Opponent plays the Flagstones, does nothing, and passes. Okay, well, we'll put a counter on our Aether Vial. Play Snow-Covered Plains, go to combat, swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 18, just pass it there. Opponent plays the Sacred Foundry tapped, passes the turn, put a counter on our Aether Vial, play a Snow-Covered Plains, go to combat, swing in for 2. No blocks from our opponent, run out the Sword of Feast and Famine, stop on our opponent's upkeep, activate Aether Vial, put our Skyclave Apparition into play, gobble up that Reclaimer. They play a Wooded Foothills, they pass the turn. Okay, gonna keep our Aether Vial on 3, play out a Horizon Canopy, equip the sword to the Skyclave, go to combat, attack like that. I think we're actually gonna sack the Horizon Canopy to draw now. Hit a Ghost Quarter, okay, cool. Get in for 6. Yep, we untap our lands, they discard our Flagstones. Yeah, we'll just pass it there. Opponent pays the Arbiter cost, so they can search with their Wooded Foothills, get themselves a Snow-Covered Forest. Cast an Eldrazi's Call. Searches up their own Skyclave, okay. Opponent plays the Snow-Covered Plains. Runs out the Skyclave Apparition, yep, targeting. Sword of Feast and Famine, okay. In their end step, we'll flash in a Restoration Angel, target our Skyclave, blink our Skyclave. Opponent's gonna get a 1/1, and we're gonna exile their Skyclave, so we'll get a 3/3. Go to our turn. Keep our Aether Vial where it is. Field of Ruin, we'll run it out. Alright, opponent scoops it up. Against this deck, what do we want? Bring in the Aven Mind Sensors, bring in Path to Exiles. What do we go down? Trim an Akroma, trim a Vial, trim 1 Resto, trim 1 Flicker Wisp, trim 1 Charming Prince. It's probably the best way to do it. Run it back like that. I'm going to keep. because with the Ephemerate we can get a Batterskull and a Sword. Opponent leads on a Temple Garden, tapped. Lead on Snow-Covered Plains, pass. Opponent plays a Flagstones, passes. Hit another land. Oh, that's not looking good for us. Run out Stoneforge. Use its ability. Get ourselves a Batterskull. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Snow-Covered Forest and a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay. Another Flagstones. Sacks the first Flagstones. Gets a Sacred Foundry. Pass the turn there. Aven Mind Sensor. Okay. We'll run out Snow-Covered Plains. We'll just pass it there. Opponent plays a Snow-Covered Plains and a Wooded Foothills. Casts a Primeval Titan. Well, then we're going to rush out this Aven Mind Sensor. Yep. Opponent gets 2 lands from the top of their library. Gains 2 life. Swings in for 2 with the Dryad. Passes to us. Alright, Arbiter as well. I like this. Run out the Arbiter. Run out Ghost Quarter. Go to combat, swing in for 2. We'll just pass it there. Opponent has Path for the Aven Mind Sensor. We have Ephemerate for the Aven Mind Sensor. Opponent goes to combat, swings in for 6. Pays 2 mana to ignore Arbiter. Hits no lands. Okay. Well, we'll just take 6 for now. Opponent has a Ghost Quarter. Goes to Ghost Quarter our Ghost Quarter. Well, then we will Ghost Quarter the Temple Garden. Yep. Opponent fails to find. Passes to us. Ephemerate rebounds. So yeah, in response to that, we'll activate our Stoneforge, put our Batterskull into play, Ephemerate will rebound, target our Stoneforge Mystic. Didn't pay the Arbiter cost, but that's okay. Run out a Ghost Quarter, go to combat, just swing in for 2 again. Right, opponent's down to 18. Opponent swings in for 6, looks for more lands. Okay, what do they hit? They hit a forest. Do we just take the 6 or do we try to trade with the Titan here? Take the 6 for now. Opponent plays a Tectonic Edge. Passes to us. Another Ephemerate. Alright, that's pretty cool. Run out of Silent Clearing. We'll crack it to draw. Another Aether Vial. Okay. Run out Aether Vial. Go to combat. Swing in. Opponent's down to 12. We're back up to 10. Opponent casts another Prime Time, having paid our Leonin Arbiter cost. Well, we're going to Ephemerate our Leonin Arbiter. Opponent doesn't get to search. No attacks from our opponent. Okay. Well, stack our triggers like that. Pay our Arbiter cost. Ephemerate rebounds. We'll target our Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge re-enters. Get a Sword of Fire and Ice. Nope, Feast and Famine, sorry. We're getting a Sword of Feast and Famine. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Skyclave Apparition. Alright, well, we tapped our mana wrong for the Leonin Arbiter, unfortunately. Can always Ghost Quarter ourselves, can't we? That might be the move. Ghost Quarter, target our plains, get another Snow-Covered Plains. Skyclave Apparition, hit the Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay, so now even Valakut doesn't hurt us too much. Just swing in the sky for 2. Pass the turn there. Opponent hits the Field of the Dead. Swings in for a bunch. Hits Valakut and another land, so they're getting a lot of zombies here. Second Primeval Titan hits another Field of the Dead. Weesh, that's a lot. Okay, well, we'll go to blocks. Just throw these 2 in front of the Primeval Titan. Suppose we could have traded with a Primeval Titan there as well. Alright, what do we hit? Horizon Canopy. Well, activate our Stoneforge. Sword of Feast and Famine into play. Pay 1 life to equip it to our Germ token. Ah, they can block with the illusion, can't we? Yeah, we mucked this up, didn't we? Something shocking. Yeah, we're done. We're just going to scoop. All right. I think we just run it back like we did and we just don't muck up again. Yep, we'll play first. Does this do enough? I'm not sure it does. Mulligan. His hand is better. Keep. Put Flicker Wisp to the bottom. Snow-Covered Plains. Run out the Giver of Runes. Pass the turn there. Opponent leads on a Snow-Covered Forest into an Elvish Reclaimer. Passes to us. Skyclave Apparition. Okay. Well, we'll play Snow-Covered Plains and we'll pass. Opponent plays a Vesuva, copying our plains. Passes the turn there. Okay. Run at our Ghost Quarter. Skyclave Apparition. Target the Elvish Reclaimer. Go to combat. Just swing in for 1. Pass it there. Opponent has the Sakura Tribe Elder. Passes the turn. Play the Snow-Covered Plains, swing with Skyclave Apparition, give it protection from green, pass the turn there. Opponent plays an Arboreal Grazer. Okay, they're short on lands, aren't they? No attacks and passes. Give protection from green, go to combat, swing in. Opponent's down to 15. Pass it there. Opponent hits a Flagstones. Runs out the Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Yep. Well, we're going to cast Ephemerate on our Skyclave Apparition. Take the Dryad. Go to our turn. Ephemerate goes off, bounce the Skyclave again, take the Grazer, run out of Snow-Covered Plains, just pass the turn there. Alright, opponent plays a Snow-Covered Forest. Gonna flash in our Aven Mind Sensor. Ooh, they're casting an Eldorami's Call in response. Okay. Search up a tireless tracker. And they cast another Eldrami's Call. Okay. Gets their own Skyclave Apparition. Yep. Sacks the Sakura Tribe Elder. Gets a basic forest. All right. Aven Mind-Sensor comes down. We're going to blow up that Flagstones. Opponent fails to find. Okay. Go to our turn. Run out of Stoneforge Mystic. Get a Sword of Fire and Ice. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent's down to 13. Pass the turn. Yep. Opponent runs out the tireless tracker. And then Elvish Reclaimer. Passes the turn. Okay. Well, activate Stoneforge Mystic. Sword of Fire and Ice into play. Equip it to the Aven Mind Sensor. Go to combat. Swing in. Opponent can't block. Hit the tireless tracker. Get another Akroma. Okay. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Radiant Fountain. Gains 2 life. Yep. And scoops up the match. All right. Good round 1. Ooh, 1 lounder. Can't keep this one. Mulligan. This hand's way better. Keep this. We'll put Snow-Covered Plains to the bottom, I think. Opponent leads on a Snow-Covered Island into a Witching Well. Okay, so we're against some sort of Urza deck. Run out Ghost Quarter. Run out Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Polluted Delta. Cracks it. It's a Watery Grave untapped. Runs out an Emery. Yep, Emery Mills. A bunch of useful stuff. Pass to us. Well, we'll put a counter on our Aether Vial. Run out the Horizon Canopy. Ugh, they can cast the Engineered Explosives and blow it up. Gross. Just got to pass it there. Yep, opponent targets Engineered Explosives with Emery, casts it for 0. Okay. Glimmer Void and Thopter Foundry. Okay. Their end step, we activate Aether Vial, put Giver of Runes into play, tick up Aether Vial, draw another Aether Vial. Okay. Well, I don't think we run out the second one. Swing in for 1. Pass it there. Opponent sacks the Engineered Explosives to make a Thopter. Passes the turn. Opponent activates the Emery on the Engineered Explosives. Casts it for 0 again. Okay. Plays a Polluted Delta. Cracks it. Gets a Snow-Covered Island. Runs out the Urza. Okay. Passes the turn there. Well, we'll tick up our Aether Vial. Opponent's got something in response. Whir of Invention for 2. Okay. Sword of the Meek. Well, I think they've got us here. Is this infinite life gain? Yep, that's infinite Thopters, infinite life gain. Yeah, I've seen enough. Bye-bye. All right, Rest in Peace can come in, Path to Exile can come in, Phyrexian Revoker can come in, Aven Mind Sensors can come in. The Akromas are still really good because they got the protection, so what can we go down instead? Go down the Charming Princes, go down the Ephemerates, 1 Flicker Wisp, 1 Restoration Angel, 1 Akroma, 1 Aether Vial, bring back in a Charming Prince, go back down 1 Flicker Wisp. All right, run it like that. Yes, I would like to play first. Yeah, I'll keep this one. Lead on Snow-Covered Plains, run out the Giver of Runes, pass the turn. Opponent leads on a Mishra's Bauble, cracks it, plays a Watery Grave, untapped. Thought Seizes us. Well, this hand gets significantly worse with Thought Seize. They take our Rest in Peace, pass to us. Well, we'll go to combat and swing in for 1. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Polluted Delta, cracks it, gets themselves a Snow-Covered Island, runs out a Thopter Foundry. Okay, pass the turn. Well, we'll play at a Ghost Quarter, cast our Akroma face down, pass. Hope that's enough. Opponent plays a Glimmer Void, an Engineered Explosives for 0. Yep, casts a Thought Seize on us. Sure thing. Takes our Path to Exile. Passes the turn. Skyclave Apparition, eh? Play out our Ghost Quarter. So they're just going to blow up the Akroma if we try to Charming Prince it. Well, we'll go to combat, attack for 2. No blocks from our opponent. Cast our Charming Prince. Just scry 2. Put the second Skyclave on top. And we'll have to Ghost Quarter ourselves to get the land. Yep, they blow up the Engineered Explosives, destroying our Akroma. Play a Spire of Industry. Run out the Sword of the Meek. They sack the sword. Get a Thopter. And they cast an Emery. Okay. They milled another Thopter Foundry. So it's the sword they're missing then. Alright, go to our turn. Gonna Ghost Quarter our own Field of Ruin. Skyclave Apparition. Take the sword. Go to combat, swing in for 2. No blocks from our opponent, down to 9. Pass the turn there. Yep, opponent uses Emery on their Mishra's Bauble, plays their Mishra's Bauble, sacks their Mishra's Bauble, has a look at what's going on. Casts a Spellskite, passes to us. They draw a card in our upkeep, we hit an Aven Mind Sensor. Well, I'm going to run out the Skyclave Apparition, target the Emery. Yep, they redirect to the Spellskite. Yep, they sack the Spellskite, get themselves a token. Go to combat, swing in for 4. Yep, opponent takes it down to 6. Pass the turn there. Opponent casts a Bauble from hand, cracks it immediately. Yep, gets back the Spellskite with Emery, plays a Polluted Delta and cracks it. They are down to 5. Get themselves a Steam Vents, and they pass the turn. We hit a Phyrexian Revoker. Okay, now the question is it Emery, Spellskite, or Thopter Foundry? I think we're going to name Emery. Go to combat, swing in for 6. Yep, opponent blocks. Down to 3. Pass the turn there. Opponent casts a Chromatic Star, cracks it, draws a card, makes a token, gains a life. It does so much. Plays another star. Sacks it, makes a token, gains a life, plays a Polluted Delta, passes the turn. Okay, we'll play a Field of Ruin. I don't think we attack here, really. Oh, we can. We can swing with 2. Swing with Charming Prince and Skyclave Apparition. Yep, opponent takes 2 down to 3. Pass it there. Alright, they've got a Sword of the Meek. Okay, they gain some life, make some tokens. They're up to 6 life. They swing in for 3, well, we'll take it. Their end step will run out our Aven Mind Sensor. Yep, they crack their lands in response. They are down to 4, and they go all the way back up to 5, 6. Okay, Aven Mind Sensor comes down. Rest in Peace. Okay, that might actually save us. Run out Rest in Peace. Resolves. Give Aven Mind Sensor protection from blue. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Alright, opponent's down to 4. Pass it there. Yep. Opponent swings in for 8. Take 8 down to 9. And they've got the Blood Chief's Thirst. That's a little frustrating. Yep. Kills our dude. Passes to us. Land is probably the least helpful thing that we could have drawn. So opponent potentially has lethal on us here. Go to combat. Swing in. Opponent sacks the sword to make another Thopter. Okay. We put Spellskite in front and Emery in front of 1. Okay. Alright, they're back up to 6, and they've got enough flyers now, haven't they? Yep. They got us. Just wasn't enough. Yep, they attack with everything, and that's the game. We win the die roll, so we're going to go first, and we're going to keep this one. Snow-covered plains, into a Giver of Runes. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Prairie Stream, tapped. Okay, well, play a Snow-covered plains, run out a Charming Prince. Scry 2, put Stoneforge Mystic to the top. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Mystic Sanctuary, tapped. Passes to us. Well, I'm just going to play a Leonin Arbiter, run out Ghost Quarter, blow up that Prairie Stream, go to combat, swing in for 2. Opponent takes 2 down to 18, we pass the turn. Opponent plays a Steam Vents, untapped. Lightning Bolt's our Giver of Runes. Okay, passes the turn there. Well, we'll play a Field of Ruin, target that Steam Vents, blow it up. Yep, swing in for 4. Opponent takes 4 down to 12, pass the turn to them. Yep, opponent plays a Flagstones, passes. Well, we'll play a Plains. It's probably a Snapcaster coming, but that's okay. Swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 8. Well, we'll attempt to cast the Giver of Runes. Oh, it resolved. So this is Jeskai Cleansing Wildfire. Oh, opponent's tapping, plays the Flagstones. Unfortunately, they get to search, don't they? Oh well. Yep, they get their Rawgrim Triome. Passes to us. We hit another Charming Prince. Okay. Well, we'll go to combat. Swing in for 4. Opponent takes it. Now, they could have a board wipe in hand, but I'm going to play the Charming Prince anyway, just to scry. So if they do wipe us, we've got a better chance of getting back in the game. We will put Vial on the bottom of our library and sort of Feast and Famine to the top. Pass it there. All right, opponent scoops it up. Wow. Phyrexian Revokers can come in. Rest in Peace and Aven Mind Sensor can come in. What do we go down against this deck? Cut a Sword of Feast and Famine. Trim 1 Aether Vial, 1 Charming Prince, 1 Ephemerate, 1 Restoration Angel, 1 Flicker Wisp, 2 Akroma. Run it like that. Alright. Opponent gets to go first this time. Don't think this is going to do enough. We'll mulligan. Yeah, we can keep this one. I think it's Mind Sensor to the bottom. Opponent leads on the Prairie Stream. Passes. Hit a Ghost Quarter as well. Well, Snow-covered plains, Giver of Runes. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Flagstones. Passes the turn. They could have the counter spell here, but what are we going to do? Yep, they remand our Leonin Arbiter. Go to combat, swing in for 1. Pass it there. They do nothing and pass again. Okay. Well, we'll try again. Do you have a hard counter? They do not. Well, we'll play out Ghost Quarter and pass the turn. They scoop up the entire match. Damn, okay. That's fast. Cool. All right, we lose the die roll. Yeah, I'll keep this one. Opponent reveals a Loris of the Dream Den. Leads with the Sacred Foundry, untapped, into a Goblin Guide, and a Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Swings in for 2. Sword of Feast and Famine on the top of our library. Okay. Well, we draw the sword, lead on Snow-covered plains, run out Aether Vial. Pass it there. Opponent cracks the Bauble, has a second Goblin Guide. Okay. Swings in, Leonin Arbiter on top of our deck. Okay. We're down to 14. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. Play out our Snow-covered plains. Run out our Stoneforge Mystic. use its ability, get a Batterskull. Pass it there. Opponent goes to combat, swings in, yep. Another Leonin Arbiter on top of our deck. Okay, well, we take 4 down to 10. Opponent casts a Skewer the Critics, targeting our Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, well, we'll put a counter on our Aether Vial. Run out Ghost Quarter, cast an Arbiter, and yeah, we'll just blow up their land now. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Mishra's Bauble, goes to combat. We've got an Ephemerate on top of our library. Okay, well, we'll activate our Aether Vial, run out a Leonin Arbiter. Go to blockers, block and block. They crack the bauble, targeting themselves. Goes to our turn. We're going to keep the Aether Vial where it is, draw our Ephemerate, play our Plains, run out our Sword of Feast and Famine, pass the turn there. Nothing from our opponent, activate Aether Vial, run out Leonin Arbiter. We will start putting counters on our Aether Vial. Play a Silent Clearing, equip the Leonin Arbiter with the Sword of Feast and Famine. Gonna crack the Silent Clearing now to draw. Skyclave Apparition, that's very good. Go to combat, swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 14. We untap our lands. Pass the turn there. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, game 2. Warrior Champions can come in. I think that's it against this. Trim 2, Flickerwisp, Trim, and Akroma, Trim, and Ephemerate. Run it back like that. Opponent gets to go first this time. What do we get? They reveal the Loris. Gonna keep this hand. Opponent starts with the Bauble. Cracks it. Plays the Wooded Foothills. Cracks it immediately. Gets a Mountain. Runs out the Goblin Guide. Goes to combat. Swings in. We've got an Aether Vial on top of our library. Alright, that's pretty good. Go to our turn. Play our Snow-Covered Plains. Run out our Aether Vial. Pass it there. Opponent plays an Inspiring Vantage. Runs out another Mishra's Bauble. Cracks it. Has another Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Swings at us for 2. Casts Wear on our Aether Vial. Okay. We hit a Ghost Quarter. Cool. Well, go to our turn. Opponent cracks their Bauble in our upkeep. We hit a Sword of Feast and Famine. Well, play a Snow-Covered Plains. Just run out Charming Prince. Gain some life, I guess. Pass it there. Opponent plays a Mountain. Casts a Searing Blaze. Okay. And casts a Seal of Fire. They swing in for 2. We reveal a Leonin Arbiter. Well, we're going to play a Ghost Quarter. Going to lead on Skyclave. Just take out that Goblin Guide. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays the Wooded Foothills. And an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Passes to us. Run out of Sword of Fire and Ice. Down to 12. Just pass the turn there, I think. Yep, opponent casts Skewer the Critics, targeting our Skyclave Apparition. They take 2. Skyclave goes away. They swing in for 2. Go down to 10. Hit another land. Okay. Run out Leonin Arbiter. Attempt to equip the sword. Yep, opponent pops it with Seal of Fire. Cracks their Wooded Foothills. Gets Sacred Foundry. Pass the turn there. It's getting dangerously close here. Opponent plays an Inspiring Vantage tapped. Puts a Loris into hand. Okay. Swings in for 3. Down to 5. They pass to us. We hit another Arbiter. Yeah, it's got to be Arbiter. And then we go down to 3. They cast the Loris. They cast the Seal of Fire. We're dead? Yeah, we're just dead. All right. Scoop it up. Next game. What's helpful? Phyrexian Revoker? Path to Exile? I really do like Path. Yeah, we'll bring in some Paths. We'll go down the Akromas. They're a bit cute. Yeah, we'll just run it back like that. All right, now we get to go first. Gonna keep, because if we hit a Plains, we're golden. Lead on Snow-Covered Plains, pass it there. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa, cracks it immediately, gets a Mountain, runs out the Goblin Guide, goes to combat, swings in and reveals a Giver of Runes. Okay, we'll take a Giver of Runes, play a Field of Ruin, run out our Giver of Runes, pass the turn there. Opponent plays an Inspiring Vantage, Monastery Swiss Spear, another Goblin Guide, okay, and a Mishra's Bauble. It's a big attack. Swings in for 6, Goblin Guide reveals, Charming Prince. Okay, no blocks. We're down to 12. Alright, well we've hit a Charming Prince, so we'll play the Charming Prince and we will scry. Opponent cracks the Mishra's Bauble. Gonna scry 2. Put both those on the bottom. Pass to our opponent. Opponent plays an Inspiring Vantage. Casts Lightning Helix, targeting the Giver of Runes. Giver of Runes will target the Charming Prince. Path to exile the Charming Prince. Okay, cool, that gives us our land. Get ourselves our Plains. Opponent swings in. Giver of Runes on top of our library. We're down to 5. It's probably a bit lower than I wanted to ever get. Run out the Skyclave Apparition. We're going to just take that Swift Spear. Pass it there. Opponent goes to combat. Swings in. Leonin Arbiter on top of our library. Go to blocks. Block a Goblin. We're down to 3. Do they have the burn spell? Yep, that's a Skewer the Critics. All right, they won. Damn. Maybe we should have just gained life with the Charming Prince. All right, we lose the die roll. No, we are not keeping this. Suppose we can keep this one. Put a Flicker Wisp to the bottom. Opponent plays an Urza's Tower into an Expedition map. Passes to us. Well, we'll play a Snow-Covered Plains into an Aether Vial. Pass it there. Opponent plays an Urza's Mine. Passes the turn. Well, we'll tick up our Aether Vial. Play a Snow-Covered Plains. We have to run out the Charming Prince and Scry. Put on the bottom. Put on the bottom. Pass it there. Yep, opponent cracks the Expedition map, gets the missing land, plays it. Okay, Eldrazi Tron. That's way better. Swings in for 5. Yep, we're just going to take it. Has another Expedition map. Has 2 more Expedition maps. This is getting kind of gross. All right, passes to us. We will put a counter on our Aether Vial. Flicker Wisp. Not a huge help. Well, we'll run out Sword of Feast and Famine. Just pass it there. Yep, opponent cracks the Expedition map, gets a Blast Zone, no attacks. Okay, they really don't want to get hit with the Sword of Feast and Famine. They pass to us. Well, we'll tick up our Aether Vial. They crack the map in response, get another Blast Zone. Okay, they're cracking the Blast Zone even though it's on 1. Okay, Chroma's not bad. Well, Field of Ruin, cast face down Akroma, just pass it there. Yep, opponent plays a Blast Zone and an Expedition map, passes it there, no attacks. Ephemerate. Okay, all right, we're just going to pass. So they blow up the Blast Zone when it had 1 counter on it. Okay, they blow up their own Expedition map. I can't think that was deliberate. Stop on their draw step, blow up the Urza's Mine, get ourselves a Snow-Covered Plains. No attacks from our opponent. Ephemerate on our Akroma. Akroma flips. Rebound Ephemerate. Target our Charming Prince. Scry 2. Put Leonin Arbiter on the bottom. Put Skyclave on top. Attempt to equip the sword to our Akroma. Go to combat. Swing in for 8. Opponent takes 8. They discard a card. We untap our lands. Gonna run out our Flicker Wisp. Just untap Plains. I suppose we should have hit Charming Prince to scry there, really. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. We hit another Ephemerate. Well, we'll go to combat. Swing in for 11. Opponent goes down to 1. They discard a card. Ghost Quarter. Cast a Flicker Wisp. Target our Flicker Wisp. That Flicker Wisp goes away. Cast Ephemerate, targeting our Charming Prince. Exile our other Flicker Wisp. Go to our end step. Our Flicker Wisps return. Gonna take out the Eldrazi Temple. And opponent sees what's happening and scoops it up. So what do we want against Eldrazi Tron? Path to Exile seem very good. Resto's probably a bit slow. Go down Resto, go down a Flicker Wisp. Yeah, we'll run it like that. Okay, this one is not particularly fast, but it's... yeah, we'll keep. Why not? We're a game up. We'll keep. Opponent leads on an Urza's Mine and passes. Okay, another Field of Ruin. Well, we'll lead on Field of Ruin into Aether Vial. Pass it there. Opponent plays an Urza's Tower and passes. Put a counter on our Aether Vial. We hit a Stone Forge. Well, yeah, we'll go Horizon Canopy, Stoneforge. Oh, opponent's going to dismember the Stoneforge. Okay, well, we'll tutor up a Sword of Fire and Ice. Just pass it there. Opponent hits a Blast Zone into a Mind Stone. Okay, passes to us. Well, we'll put our Aether Vial on to Snow-Covered Plains as well. Well, we're just going to hardcast an Arbiter, run out a Ghost Quarter, target that Urza's Tower. Opponent casts a Dismember on our Arbiter. Well, we'll activate our Aether Vial, put our other Leonin Arbiter into play. Dismember kills our first one. We eat the Urza's Tower. All right. Well, we'll just pass it there. Opponent does nothing and passes. Okay. Well, we're going to put a counter on our Aether Vial. An Ephemerate. Okay. We'll play a Snow-Covered Plains. Run out the Sword of Fire and Ice. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 10. Pass the turn there. Yep. Opponent puts a charge counter on there. Blast Zone. Passes the turn. Okay. Well, we'll go to our turn. Keep our Aether Vial where it is. Another Arbiter. Oh, boy. Well, we'll play a Field of Ruin. We'll target the Blast Zone with the Field of Ruin. Yep. Opponent pays the Arbiter cost. We're going to Ephemerate our Arbiter. So now they haven't paid that Arbiter's cost. Yep, they don't get to search. We also don't get to attack, but that's okay. I'll just pass it there. Opponent scoops up the match. Okay. Yeah, we were just playing a controlling game that game. That's all we wanted to do. And that's how you beat them. They just couldn't get any fast creatures down. We just kept up all our interaction and we were just happy taking our time blowing up their lands. That's great. All right, so what did we think of Fabi 1's Mono White Flicker deck? It's really good. It is very similar to Taxes. Very similar. There just is no Thalia. If there was a Thalia in there, it would be a straight up Taxes deck. But because there's no Thalia, we get to run our Ephemerates. We can even cast our swords, which is great. The only main deck removal we have is the sword trigger and our Skyclave apparition. So we do rely quite heavily on our Flicker Wisps being able to take out our opponent's flying threats, things that can get in our way, but it works really well. I do love all the flicker effects. I think if you're going to have flicker effects, you should just go ham. And it's great. I mean, there were games there where we would flicker our own Stoneforge Mystic to get another sword. Just the threat of being able to flicker our Akroma was enough to make our Urza opponent cast and blow up the engineered explosives for 0. We still lost that game, but it certainly gave us a threat. But yeah, there's not much to say, really. The mana base is great. I think if you want some more percentage points against other decks, you should run a Sunbaked Canyon as well. But that, like I said, that's just percentage points. Sideboard feels solid. Perhaps something that can stop artifacts. I mean, I know Stony Silence stops our swords equipping, stops our Aether Vial, but maybe we need something else against that Urza deck because it is painful. It is a painful, painful deck to verse. But look, overall, 3-2, I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm just glad that there's a deck where Restoration Angel's actually really good again. And the threat of restoing out the Akroma or being able to reset your Arbiters is really good. I don't think it's as good as it once was, but it's still a really good card. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, have fun.